always comes to this. Hello there guys, here to do another tattoo progress update video today. Where I last left off, I'm pretty sure I showed off the outline of this chest tattoo. I've actually had 2 more sessions since then, and I won't get into the one, I'll show that off another video, but I had 3 sessions this week, so again, I'm ramping up. I'm going real hard lately. I've been saying I could probably get tattooed probably once a day and not run out of stamina for it for the last little while, and I wouldn't mind testing that theory, but I don't know how well my body would keep pace with me. Right now everything's healing really, really well, but I think if I push it too hard, it might not. Anyway, before I get too much into the weeds of things, I often rant too much at the beginning of these, I'll just go ahead and show off what I got done. So, I dot shaded the inside of this moon. For the people who've been watching this vlog series astutely, you'll know that this is something I've been meaning to do for a long time. Much like this palm tattoo itself that I had Terry do, this dotting was always something I kind of wanted to get to. There's no actual mag shading in here. This is all solid dots, which is interesting because it looks like this was mag shaded, like solid. But these dots are just done really, really close together. In other words, Terry did dot, and then right next to the dot, another dot, 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 dot. Yeah, dots stay really, really well. Lines can stay really well in palms too. I've had some people say, oh, the only way you can get a tattoo to stay is, a palm tattoo to stay is by dotting it in. That's not true. It's just about maintaining the same amount of pressure and the same amount of depth in the skin. The reason why dots do so well in palms is because when you touch down with a needle, you're never going to get deeper than that. But if you can maintain that depth, you can get the line to stay. So that's how this palm tattoo was originally done, just lines. There was no dots done in this tattoo. And we lost almost nothing. Now there was this one little small spot that we did lose, just a little bit. The line was still there, but it was a little transparent in places. So Terry dot connected that line. It's just a pretty next level little trick he pulled. This looks like it was done with a liner, same as this looked like it was done with the mag, but that's actually just dots connected. And I do believe that it blew out in a way that we'll have great success with. Blowouts are what you want with palm tattoos. You don't want them to be fine line, delicate, dainty little things. You want them to be, you know, pretty thick and solid, chunky even. You don't. Maybe someone could get a fine line, like pretty dainty palm tattoo, but for the most part, the best chance you've got, especially if you're not doing them all the time, is to try and blow the fuck out of them. So that's what Terry did. There's still a few lines we didn't touch up in there because there's parts of this tattoo that were perfect as they were. So there was no real need to reestablish those lines because, yeah, they're a little bit gray, blue, but they're going to be anyway. This one's already going to that tone. I will be touching this guy up right away here, but palms take quite a while to heal, and I think probably another month until I go at that again. But I have zero fear of it. In fact, I said last time palm tattoos aren't especially painful, and I'm doubling down on that now. This was a cakewalk, and that's a lot of dots. Like, that was, we did probably 40 minutes, just dot, 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 dot the whole way. I was talking about how palm tattoos weren't particularly painful, and I got an email from someone saying that his palms weren't painful, and that maybe because he went for a longer duration or whatever, it would be more painful as time went on, whatever. I'm not going to discredit any of that, but I will say that I plan on having my entire palm tattooed at some point now. I didn't always, but now that I'm in a more casual lifestyle, I do plan on dotting everything or like shading everything eventually, but I don't want like a full blackout palm for the same reasons I've already gone over. I just think that eventually I'll have little tattoos connected all around here and up my fingers. And so I will be in for potentially a longer session on my palm, but more likely what I'll do is I'll just work it in over time. So I may never have to cross that bridge. Now, that being said, I've sat for some pretty brutal tattoo sessions. I don't really expect much to be changing my mind at this point. But what I will say is a huge caveat to the guy who wrote me that is that we do all feel pain differently in different places. So it's possible that I just don't have a lot of sensitivity in my palms because like by an hour after this was done, I could probably slap that and not feel too much pain. This is 2 days later and it's basically back to normal. I could be lifting weights again tomorrow if I wanted to be right now. Yeah, I don't feel like I have to baby this at all. This is another thing, another big distinction. People have asked me, for example, if palm tattoos are the most painful thing or whatever for me, or like the hardest to heal for me. Finger blackouts, when I had my fingers blacked out, anytime I did that, I couldn't move my fingers for about a week. I've talked about that lots already, so I won't get too much into that. But with the palm tattoos, I don't really feel that way. I don't feel anything like that. I feel like if I wanted to, I could be doing push-ups the next day, and it wouldn't be too much stress on my hand. Now, I'm not going to, because I know better than that. I know that just because I'm not in pain doesn't mean the tissue isn't still healing. But it doesn't feel particularly limiting. The only reason why I held off doing palm tattoos like this for so long was because I worked in a bacteria-rich environment, being in the kitchen for most of my working adult life. Now that I'm not there, however, I really have no reason not to just do whatever I want in regards to hand tattoos, and so all of a sudden, thinking about doing the rest of my palm is definitely on the table. That being said, I like this look. I like the dotting look. I like that texture that we got, and the odds are that obviously it's not good. I never expect it to look like this once it's healed, but I do think that we're going to keep that textured look. It'll blue out or like gray out a bit, but this was already a pretty well perfect little palm tattoo, so there's no damage that we can do to it. What's the worst that happens? We have to do it again, and as I already said, I don't really mind that. It's a bit like head tattoos. I could sit for one of these every day. I could sit for one of these little tattoos any day of the week. I had a more impressive session, both for duration and in terms of pain, just a few days after, but I'll get into that in the next video because that was more painful than the palm tattoo too. In fact, just about anything that I'm doing with Rick is more painful than anything I'm doing with Terry. I find anything that's on my core, anywhere that's on like the front of me or like my stomach or my sides, I find all of that more, the pain more engrossing. I feel like anytime you're working on something on your body, you can't get away from it as much as you can as a limb, something that you just leave. I do a little mental trick when I get my legs or my arms or hands or whatever tattooed, where it's almost like that thing's pretty far away from me where I am, and I don't have to worry about that. I can get pretty good mental distance from that limb. But when something's right up on your core, hitting you hard, it doesn't really feel like that. Now, I had a few more things to say about this palm tattoo before people tune out. Some have already, probably. Let's be real. Terry is a particularly gifted tattooer in some sense, but again, he's not a bona fide legend or something. He's not a 20-year guy. Rick is a 20-year guy, but what I always try and communicate with these vlogs is just the ability of most people to do this work. And that's part of why I had the third session this week too, because I got a piece done by a guy who's never done color or white or black on black before. I got a big piece done by him, and it went great. He didn't have any prior experience with it, and I already know how it's going to heal. Same thing. These are the first times that Terry has done palm tattoos. And this for a one-pass palm, the first shot, that's fucking great. Okay? First time dotting a full palm like that. And all these little tricks he did, connecting the line with dots, doing solid black in here with dots. This is a 2-year tattoo artist, okay? This is not a magician. This is not a fucking sorcerer. There is no magic trick here. This is just giving it a shot. And me being willing to potentially do touch-ups if we have to. That is it. So if you're a tattooer out there and you're watching this thinking, I can't do that, or if you've been told by a tattooer, a 5-year guy or something, that it can't be done, he's lying to you. Okay? It can be done. It's just on the willingness. There's no magic here. It just goes in. It's funny when I'll show off my palm tattoos on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and I'll get people like, that'll be cool for 5 minutes. It's like, you know, I'm pulling off like color on black right now, right? Like palm tattoos are like, I know people doubt the ability to do a palm tattoo, but surely they're lower on the end of doubt than color over black, right? And we got that pretty well on lock now. This stuff isn't going away. So it troubles me how little belief people have in, like, it's like we need a license to dream, you know? No one's even willing to give it a shot. We've just given up before we even started. And, like, I keep making content on all social media platforms I'm on that keep disproving these things. And I've been doing this for years now. And then you still hear those things. It gets a little bit exhausting when you keep proving that that's not true. You can do these things. It gets daunting, is what I'm saying. And this is not to discredit Terry or Rick or Alex, the piece I got done by Alex recently. These are all fine artists. It's just they're not trained in doing palm tattoos. They're not trained in doing work over blackout. They're not specializing in that. There are no specialists in that. There's Luke Ashley doing high-level palm tattoos. You got Walker doing palm tattoos. But like most people don't do these things all the time. It's just, you got to take a swing. People have got to be willing to try more. Stop doubting so heavily and just try more. Like, I want to be a year from now seeing local artists all over the place doing this stuff, because it's not the magic trick that it's been made out to be. So anyway, sorry to go on a tirade. I really had to get that off my chest again. I'm going to keep thumping that drum because I feel like people need to hear it. And I'm hoping that my work in these avenues and my being thorough and explaining it all will help some people and help some people get some work done that some people are denying or turning away. Anyway, I'll show off the new palm. And of course, as always, I will show off how it heals. I know how it's going to heal, though. I am very confident what I'm going to be looking at. And I'm going to love it as much, maybe more. I like healed tattoos more than fresh tattoos. So that's the moon. Again, done by a 2-year tattoo artist. Okay? All right. I'll talk to you guys again soon.